Tom.
Josh, you've such a great record over Scotland. Can you put your finger on why that is, do you think?
It's very hard to know. I think we've quite often, a lot of the games I've been involved in, we've played particularly well. There's been a lot of close games in there as well. But we've, for whatever reason, we've managed to put in some pretty good performances. And I think from the games I've been involved in anyway, the forwards have performed pretty well when we've gone well. Obviously Scotland are playing really well at the moment. They're playing brilliant stuff. But whenever we've done well, we've kind of put a pretty all-round performance. I think I can't remember us beating Scotland very often when we haven't played well over the years. So it'll definitely take a big performance. We're by no means expecting a win or anything like that. We're prepared for a tough game, and we know it'll be a big challenge, and we'll try to perform at our best. I think that's probably the big focus. We've so much respect for them, really.
And how would you describe this championship for you? Like, you started on the bench, how has the way Andy Farrell has done that, has it motivated you even more? What's that been like for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's kind of tough. Like, I'd always want to start every game. Yeah, that's kind of the way you always want to do it. But obviously, for the team and for development of the team, and a lot of lads are playing well. Like Nick Timoney's been playing brilliant stuff. So aside from myself, it was great to see him starting on the weekend just gone, and he's played really, really good stuff. Back row's been brilliant throughout. It's a very competitive place. Obviously, from my perspective, that I'd like, even on the benches, I don't mind being on the bench. It's a different role, I suppose, to starting. But it kind of drives you on as well. I think it's an unbelievably competitive place. Never take for granted getting to play for Ireland whenever you're chosen. So it's always great to be involved. I'd love to start every game for the next few years. You know what I mean? I think every player is that way. Everyone's kind of competitive. But the nature of it's very competitive. A lot of lads playing well, and you can't always play. So yeah, that's kind of how I think about it.
So Tom, then Owen.
Josh, how you mentioned Nick Timoney there. How was he, like, after being named to start? How was he in the lead up, in the time between that kickoff? And your thoughts on how he's gone in this Six Nations, and what's he been like? I feel like he's really come into his own for this competition.
Yeah, he's remarkably calm. He doesn't seem to get too bothered or nervous. If he does, he doesn't seem to let anyone see it anyway. But he's been brilliant. I mean, he's pretty meticulous in his preparation. We'd always, like, anytime we're both in camp over the years, we kind of work together quite a bit, because we're obviously both playing in the back row, so we do a lot of work together, a lot of video stuff, going over things. And he's a brilliant player. He probably hasn't, even in speaking to him, he probably hasn't had as many opportunities as he'd have liked. It's obviously a competitive position, but I thought every time he's gone onto the field, he's been absolutely brilliant. I think the Portugal week particularly, I think that set him up so well for the tournament. He was, remember Andy saying at one stage, he was man of the match for the week pretty much in terms of his training. I think the way he trains, how hard he goes, is kind of, it shows in the game then. So he's been brilliant. He's a great bloke to have around, good sense of humour. And he's played really well. He's been a huge addition to the team anytime he's been on the field. So it's great to see him doing well.
And
Hey Josh, just following on what Sinead asked about the great record against Scotland. You mentioned tight games. Does that help, and is there baggage that comes into it now that if it's tight, you've been here before and you beat them all the time and they know they lose?
Gosh, I don't know about that. I kind of would take it on a individual game basis. I suppose it can definitely give confidence if lads like that. I suppose it's same with anything. I suppose, like, even if you've done something before and you've succeeded, it obviously helps in the confidence. It probably does allow us to be. You can be a bit more relaxed. There's not as many doubts in there, I suppose, for us. We know in the past if we've performed well, we've managed to win, but I wouldn't say I think it's a different Scotland team to what we've seen the last few years at the moment, and they're playing brilliant stuff. Obviously, everyone would have seen the game against France, how good they were. So we'll obviously take confidence on the fact that when we've performed well, we've managed to get wins, but I don't think that necessarily means if we just need to turn up and play well. I think it'll take our best this weekend, and that's kind of the goal to get there.
Last two questions, Johnny, then Brent.
Josh, just going back to Sinead's question, you're not used to starting off the bench, you're usually on the pitch. When that happened, what was internally going on? Was that like a reset for you that you had, internally, you said, this is different? So what were you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different position to be in. I think my perspective's definitely changed, and I was actually chatting to Gary Ringrose during the week last week, and he was kind of saying to me how much he's kind of, especially having Jack Niederbar in Leinster, and how he and the South Africans tend to look at the bench, and it's not necessarily like, I know in basketball and stuff, I've heard said before, the main thing is who you have on the pitch at the end of the game. So that's kind of, and I know like Jacques Niederbar would kind of see it very much that way as well. And it's a big role off the bench. It's obviously a privilege to more than likely be there at the end of the game. And you're kind of looking to add impact, add energy, that kind of thing. It's probably a slightly different role, but it's I've done it a good few times for Leinster and stuff, and it's a good way to add to the team, or try to anyway.
And Brent.
Hi Josh, are you practicing any line-up throws this week?
I was just messing around with a couple in the warm-up, but hopefully it doesn't come to that again. I remember obviously the game in Murrayfield a few years ago. I always kind of tip away at a couple here and there. It's funny, I played for a long time and it had never happened until that day. It was the first time I ever threw in a line out. But I'd practiced it a bit here and there, so I'd always try and tip away at a few here and there, but you always hope you don't have to use it, because it obviously means we're in a bit of bother if you do.
Just looking at last year's game, obviously in Murrayfield as well, but a lot of momentum behind Scotland then. I remember Chris Hoy coming onto the pitch, a lot of emotion. You guys got an absolute flying start, which kind of sealed the game. What was it about that day that you can replicate this Saturday?
I think the same with anyone you play really, but I think we had a fast start and we were pretty physical. I thought we were very good on the contact side of things from memory, and trying to nullify what they do well is critical as well. Obviously, seeing how well their attacking game's been going. There are a lot of key players who, like Finn Russell, for example, runs the game very well. So trying to manage that, minimise their effectiveness, and then I suppose front up when we have the ball as well, and in defence. But I think the main thing, like one of the big things I find with any of these test matches, is whoever wins the physical battle tends to stand a pretty good chance. So without oversimplifying it, that's probably one thing we've done well in the past, and we'll have to be pretty good in that area for the weekend.